I was just thinking again about that woman I was talking about earlier. She was a guest at our church, and she was sitting there with her snacks and going crunch, crunch, crunch. And her
Yeah.
her testimony was that she wanted to get back in church, and I really wonder if she did. Because I don't know that I've ever heard saw her. Of course, I've never heard her since neither. So, but I wouldn't have. If I saw her, I wouldn't have. I would have. I would have been all right if I got chip cried on my hands while shaking hers.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, I know a
Yeah.
lady. She'd go to church while they're trying to bring a message. She'd be back there painting her fingernails.
Oh
And
boy.
she said she couldn't listen for 15 minutes to any speaker.
Oh gosh, I tell you that.
15 minutes, she was gone. In other words, she couldn't get no more out of it.
Yeah, that fingernail paint is rank.
Yeah. I've seen her do that a lot of times.
Past,
And,
former
and
pastor told. Yeah, former
when
pastor.
I'd be up there,
Yeah,
see, I brought several messages this same church,
yeah.
and I've seen her paint her fingernails many times. That's where that man went. It said he supposed to be a preacher. Said he hadn't sinned in 15 years since he's been in preaching, or 40 years.
Wow. Getting some of the craziest stuff, don't we?
Yes, we do. And I took one time. I took a guitar with me, and why I took it, I don't know, but I did. It's just a small guitar, but ain't bigger than nothing. But you talk about a good sound, it's got it.
Yeah,
I only give $30 for it, brand new. And I had it tuned in open G chord, all strings are open. All you have to do is pick the string and note them. And half of them are open. You don't have to even note the open string.
yeah.
And he brought in a guitar and played a few times. And leaving out, he sat about third pew from the back door where you go in.
Yeah.
And I made a chord. I said, "You think my guitar's in tune?" He said, "It ain't no way." I said, "Well, you can't read it. It ain't tuned. Don't sound like it is.
Huh.
But you can't judge a book by its cover."
Yeah.
And I started picking out on that guitar, on them notes. He just reared back. He said, "I think it's in tune." Sometimes I bring me here and pick it just a little bit for you.
Yeah.
And it would surprise anybody how good, how clear it sounds when I'm picking it.
Yeah.
It don't have a jar in the string.
That's something.
If they'd noticed that'd been that good a guitar, they wouldn't have had $30 price tag on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I think probably the cheap one sounds the best.
Sometimes I think you do too.
Yeah.
And I've got one. It's a silver tone. Sears and Roebuck used to have sell.
Yeah.
It's a good little guitar.
Yeah.
And I've got another one. Yeah. The UPS man brought it. Stood it beside my door, knocked on the door, and left. I went out and got it. It didn't have no return address on it, where it came from.
Well, someone just sent you it.
I guess it did.
Huh.
or he dropped it off in the wrong place.
Well,
But I didn't know where to take it to or send it back to.
yeah. I know I sent you some strings a while back.
Yeah, I still got some of them.
Yeah. They were the strings that came with my new
I'm gonna
guitar.
have to string up one or two again.
Yeah,
They just don't last like they used to.
I'm sure. Those are
I
probably,
can remember when you could put strings on the guitar, it still sound good within a year.
yeah.
Well, they won't do it now.
Yeah, Mom sews a lot, and I was in there, and I said that machine sounded like it's thumping. She said my needle's getting dull again. She said I used to go for years without putting a fresh needle on these machines, and now I can hardly go a few days.
Right. And you know what we used to make for a fish stringer, when we made a homemade fish stringer?
What's that?
You remember getting these cans of meat? You had a pretty long needle that you could roll that needle up and open the can.
I think I do.
It
Yeah,
was a piece of the key.
yeah. The twister. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like the corned beef can and stuff.
We used
Yeah.
to get them big years ago when you could get them, and we keep them. Gave her to go fishing, put a string on that.
Yeah.
We'd have like a good stringer.
Yeah. Yeah. About the only thing I know of that has those keys still yet is the corned beef cans.
Yeah. I like a good corned beef.
Yeah, me too.
But anymore, we don't know if it's all corned beef or not, the things they put in them.
I agree. It could be something that's totally not fit to eat.
Could be. I think that's why a lot of times you eat something that don't agree with you.
Yeah. And it seems like so many of us have bad stomachs nowadays.
Yeah. I do. And I got that acid reflux. Ever since I had my gallbladder out, I've had trouble.
Yeah. I've heard you have to modify your diet when you do that sometimes.
You do. I can eat a cucumber and I can eat a pickle. Sweet pickle, not just a plain cucumber.
Well,
If I do, I'll burp it up 3 or 4 days
that's something.
after I eat it.
Huh. I remember one time I went to this one restaurant for breakfast, and it seemed like I burped their food for 3 or 4 days.
Right.
And they've closed, so I don't go back.
I don't blame you. Well, I'll say good night. God bless.
Yeah.
Go get me a drink of water. And see if I can eat a bite or two.
All right. I guess
It's about time for my pill time.
Yeah.
And I got some pills. If you don't eat a bite or two with them,
Yeah.
you talk about tearing your stomach up.
Yeah.
And you leave a taste in your mouth, it's sickening.
Yes.
What book are we going into next?
Of course, I've thought about James. I don't know about you.
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about the perfect law of liberty.
Yes. I know.
They say ain't nothing perfect in this world, that is.
Yeah. I know we've covered Jude recently, so maybe we can go to James and Peter and to the books of John.
Yes, I love going through books of Peter and James and John.
Yeah. Yeah,
Paul,
that sounds like a good
Paul led us
schedule.
up to the hip rail, threw the rope over it. James coming along behind him, tied a knot in it.
Well,
In other words, he tied us up in the book of James, the way we're supposed to live a Christian life.
Yes. I know what it's
See, that's what a lot of people don't like. They don't want to be told how.
Yes.
They think we're judging, but we ain't. The word is.
Yes. I know it'll take a while, but I thought about the book of Psalms the other day.
Yes, that's a good book. One time I was teaching in Psalms, and there was a lady that said it. That's a long chapter.
Yes.
I said, you ought to be glad. I'm thinking about going into 119. And the pastor, when you talk about laughing at her.
Yeah.
And see, when I started the chapter, I'd finish it.
Yeah.
And I said, you better be thankful. I'm thinking about going into John. Psalm 119.
Yeah.
He laughed. That's got 119 verses in it, I think.
Yeah. You know, we got a pastor and a friend of ours that, you know, he lives several miles away from us. So we rarely get to go to his church. And one night he was teaching much like we are, but he took about 2 or 3 hours.
But
You know?
I tell you a book will be good to teach. But you got now each verse, you got 2 subjects.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they don't like that. Because one part's good and the other part's the bad side.
Yeah.
In other words, it tell you the good side and it tell you the bad side.
Yeah.
That's the book of Proverbs.
Yes.
And I think every Christian needs to read and go through the book of Proverbs
Yes.
and the book of Psalms.
Yes. Hopefully, maybe we'll try to record early tomorrow, and then I can head to church. You know, I don't know how that's going to work out.
You can or you can make 2 out of this, and either one.
Yeah. I'll probably just post. I think I'll post this one all together.
All right.
And of course, I got all these other bonuses that we can air if we don't have a video to make. You know, that's what I pulled one of them out last night, actually.
And this weather has been so hot down here. Yeah, just a little while, and you wore out for the day.
Yeah.
You completely drained.
Same here, you know.
And I can sweat with 3 shirts in no time.
Yeah.
When it gets so wet, I have to change.
Yeah. So you know I bought a new garden hose thing today, and I hose down the coils in our air conditioners. You know, keep them clean. You know, it's a good idea to keep those coils clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of them things where you treat them right, and they'll treat you right. You know.
Yeah.
I said I believe that central air thing. I told Mom, I said I believe that runs quieter after I clean it.
Yeah, they'll pick up things. They gather trash and stuff in them.
Yeah. All I did was just hose it down with water. Of course, I usually take the fan off the central air sometimes and clean it, but I didn't do that this time. But I'm going to do that later on. Get some of the leaves and junk out there, especially next spring. You know.
Yeah. It wouldn't hurt to have a little top over them.
Yeah.
Not let it touch them,
Yeah.
but let it be up over them just a little bit.
Yeah.
And keep limbs and branches from falling in.
Yeah.
That will blow off the trees.
Yes. could probably put.
Or you could do that and put a good head of something like a
Yeah,
hardware screen on top of it.
yeah,
Still let the air out.
yeah, yeah. Some of that chicken wire like screen or something, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll help.
So I'll say good night and God bless you.
Yeah. Good night. God bless you too.